Yeah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and good afternoon. We welcome our two distinguished guests and speakers from all the way from Switzerland, Mr. Andre Harun Ezok, and also Mr. Corrado Di Mario. Yes, Dr. Osman is here. We call for Dr. Osman. Luckily, I saw your face, Dr. Okay, we call Dr. Osman to say golden word. Satu, thank you tu. You okay? I 1 minute late. Silakan tu, please.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Coach. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad Syafi'in Biar Mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. And I was listening to the dua and the opening remarks of Coach Asri from my camp, Malaysian Coach Association Malaysia. This is something that I must congratulate Coach Asri and the team for doing this IBD. I think this is the sixth series, right? Six or seven, the sixth series, where it's an opportunity where the entrepreneurs will be able to learn, pick up some ideas and grow from there. Now, for those of you who are in this session, how many people together so far, Coach?
Moment Syuk, how many Syuk? I tak nampak sangat lah.
Ada 59.
59, eh?
Wow, very good, Datuk.
Very good.
59
people or 60 people on a Sunday evening. I mean, this is real spirit of entrepreneurship. Now, I must congratulate you guys who are attending this session, because to be an entrepreneur is not an easy task. A lot of people, or many people, can say they are entrepreneurs, they did that, they do this and so forth, but the reality is tough. And I can vouch that personally, because there was about a 5-year or 6 years period, I was doing my own thing, and then the Asia financial crisis, came into picture. If you remember, 1997, 1998. I was doing my own training, my own consulting, and my wife was in a Proton car business. If you all can recall, 1998, that's where businesses can't get loan, people can't buy cars because they cannot get loan. And that's the time also, suddenly our ringgit versus US dollar, 1 USD became 4 ringgit, and I was involved in a business where I deal with companies from America. I bought my materials in US dollar, and I lock in at a certain price, and now I have to conduct the business at a much lower cost, and you lose money eventually. Things were getting tough, and one of us decided to go back to work, and I decided to went back to work, and my wife continued with her business. So I do understand the challenges that entrepreneurs are going through. It is tough, but you know what? You can only become an entrepreneur, a real entrepreneur. You keep pushing the envelope. You keep growing, and so forth. So like session like today, I'm very happy to see that 59 or 60 people are going to participated. You register, you dial in. This is why I'm sure you will learn from these two gentlemen of ideas how you can even move your business further. You can grow your business, and you can become successful, inshallah, over the long haul. I just want to share you one experience. In 2011, this is a time when I was still working in Saudi Arabia. I was working with a company called Abdul Latif Jamil. For those of you who do not know Abdul Latif Jamil, basically Abdul Latif Jamil is a private Toyota distributor company, but they are the largest private Toyota distributor in the world. Just to give you a good understanding how big they are, when Toyota Malaysia UMW was selling about 80,000 cars per year, Abdul Latif Jamil already selling about 320,000 cars. So they are 4 times even bigger than the size of Malaysia. So that gives you an indication how big they are. Now, so happened I was fortunate enough, and I having been to quite a number of executive programs, throughout the world. And one of the program I attended in 2011 was a week program in the London Business School. And one of the professor that came in and talked about the future of work. I mean, her title, she wrote a book and she launched a book during that period of time in 2011. The title is The Shift, The Future of Work is Already Here, and it's by Linda Gretton. Linda is a known professor in London Business School, being identified as top 200 business thinkers of the world. I think Times in UK rated her as top 20, of someone who really understands what's happening in the future, especially around future of work. And I think whatever she said in the book, write the book, and I reread the book a couple of weeks ago. And one of the things that she spoke about, she wrote, was something about the force of technology. And I think it's real. I mean, of course, you all can buy the book if you want to, but the point is, the force of technology is real, things are changing. And we all know that during the pandemic, the COVID-19 situation, look how businesses have suffered, for example. But those who are proactive enough, they move into an online business, they use e-commerce platform and so forth, some or other, they survive, and I think they get better and better. So when I saw the topic today, I think here is a great opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, for you to really learn and pick ideas from, based on what I saw, two speakers, someone who has been involved in this business, who understands what's going on, and learn as much as you can, because life, it's about learning. Life is about growing. I'm a great believer in coaching, in mentoring. I'm a great believer in reaching out and asking people for help, especially in areas that we are not good at. Now, while things are changing around the world, things are changing in the business world, but there are fundamentals that we need to have as an entrepreneur. If I may share, based on some of the research, for example, if we want to be successful, one of the things that we must have within ourselves is something called energy, something called passion, something called drive, that one must have. Kita kena ada, we must have this inside us. If you don't have that, chances are it's difficult for you to grow. It's difficult for you to even become better. Now, how many of us in this group here listening to me, and you go back, you ask this fundamental question: why do I go into this business? Is it because so happened I went into it and then I'm stuck with it? I can't get out. I've invested so much money, so this is something that I have to continue and keep doing it. But yet, you wake up every morning, you're not happy about what you're doing. So if you have that kind of feeling, there's no way, in my view, in my humble view, that you can be successful in whatever you're trying to do. Now, there is in the Toyota world, in Japanese world, there's a word that I learned, something called ikigai. What is the meaning of ikigai? It's the reason why we get up from bed every morning. So we must have that purpose. We must have that energy. We must have the drive, and we must know what we are trying to do and what we are trying to achieve. Now, obviously, we all are going through major challenges, especially with COVID-19 situation. And I'm sure many of you suffered for sure. But the point is, if we know what we want, we keep pushing ourselves, we keep learning, we keep growing, chances are we will be successful. Because that's how things work, And for those of you who are Muslim, who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you just have to do whatever you need to do, and you don't have to worry about the results. The result is something that you leave it to Him. Now, that's the drive, that's the direction, the energy that you must have within your life. Now, having said that too, it's not good enough. You may have the drive, you may have the wawasan, the direction, you know where you're going, but at the end of the day, you need help. So you need to learn to build your own relationship, your own network. Remember, I said you need to reach out, you need to have friends, you need to have coaches, you need to have mentors, you need to have advisors, you need to have good people around you so that you can grow together with them. This is something that a lot of people, or many people, sometimes don't understand the importance of managing and building relationship. We all know, for example, not only in this part of the world, and in many parts of the world, if you have relationship with people, it's easier for you to get things done. If you know people in Maida, for example, you know people in Matrade, you know people in Medak, you know people in some other ministries, it's easier for you to reach out, to ask for certain things. And that's something that one must understand if you want to become a successful entrepreneur. Now, while you have the drive, you have your direction, you know how to build relationship, maintain it, and so forth, but you're still not good enough until unless you're able to influence things. Many people, even in a working environment, you may have your job title, you may have your position, but you're not able to influence your bosses, you're not able to influence your peers to do the way that should be done. Now, here's an example where one has to develop. You may have challenges with the bankers, for example, for you to get financing and so forth. So you got to find ways and means how to really modify your approach or upgrade your presentation, your material, and so forth. When you go for an interview, how do you convince the bankers, how you can get financing and stuff like that. So that ability to influence is a skill also that you have to develop. If you don't have that, that's something maybe you need to learn, you need to ask people, you need to go for training, and whatever that needs to be done. And finally, dear friends, we got to execute things. I mean, no point we have big dreams, we have big plans, we say we want to achieve many, many things in our life, but eventually we are not able to execute a lot of things in our life. So in a nutshell, if you put all these things together, plus with the help, like today, you're going to learn from these two gentlemen, inshallah, you'll be able to grow, you'll be able to become better, and it's all about you being humble and keep learning and growing. I like to end my little opening with a little example that when I was in Omaha, Nebraska, this was in 2009, I believe. It's one of his AGM. For those of you who have heard the name of Warren Buffett, his AGM can attract easily about 40,000 people. I remember that particular morning I have to queue to enter into that convention center about 6:30, 6:45 in the morning to be in the meeting at 8 a.m. And I listened to Warren Buffett, I listened to Charlie Munger, and during the break session, not that Warren knows me, please. I mean, I probably know him, but he doesn't know me. We all know that Warren Buffett is what, top 5, top 6 richest man in the world today. Now, during that session, I pushed myself, wanting to ask him some questions, and obviously, I think he observed there's among the white guys in the crowd, I probably look different, and then he said this to me, "Young man, what can I do for you?" And I asked him this question, "Warren, if I want to become successful just like you, what should I do?" To my surprise, he responded by saying, "Young man, be humble and learn as much as you can." Now, I hope this evening session, just be humble, open up your thinking, and learn as much as you can, and hopefully, inshallah, you will grow you become a much better leader, much better entrepreneur, much better person in your life. And with that, thank you, Coach Hasril, and I wish the participants all the best.
Let me introduce our distinguished guest and speaker. First one, Andre Harun is a very young man, born 14 July 1969. He is an entrepreneur in the real estate business since 1991. As a project developer, he focused on retail properties and built a strong network with the leading luxury brands in the world. That means he's familiar with brands, global brands, and hopefully all of you will be a global brand once you go on board with DG1. 2019, he started investing into DG1, an e-commerce platform with unique features to prepare SMEs for the upcoming tech revolution. After a successful launch in Europe 2021, he decided to bring this ability to South Asia, starting off in Malaysia. That means he wants to give the opportunity to Malaysian. Our second gentleman, Mr. Corrado Di Maro, 23 plus years of experience in international operations and leading operation, sales and marketing team, communication and emotional intelligence expert, fundraising and negotiation expert, wow, power, trainer and team building, member of ICF International Coach Federation, business, then Louis Business School. I'm a certified coach by University Malaya Center for Continuing Education. So we also certify coaches for Malaysia. So welcome on board as the coaching thing in the coaching business. All right.
Yeah, I will start first. I just need to get something organized over here. All right. Yeah, salam alaikum, everyone. Thank you, Coach Hasril, for organizing this exciting online event. Actually, Corrado and myself, we are really excited that you guys are having us. Thank you, Dato Seri Rosman, for your kind words and your support. We are more than happy having this opportunity to introduce DG1, our new and innovative e-commerce platform today. I will quickly welcome Corrado. He was already introduced. Corrado is the CEO for DG1 in Europe. He's joining us today to explain about DG1 and its features, and he will jump on the presentation from time to time. Thank you, Corrado, for taking out some time, especially on a Sunday, for your precious time. Highly appreciate it.
This is really a pleasure, Andre, and thank you to everybody, to the coach, for giving us this opportunity to join you today.
So, I mean, there were already a few words mentioned about myself, but I just want to wrap something up. You have already heard, my name is Andre Harun Herzog. I was born in Germany. I'm currently living in Switzerland. What was not mentioned, but which is very important to me, is the reason why are we having this presentation today and why is it Malaysia? Why does DG1 come to Malaysia in the first place? The reason is simple. Actually, this is my wife's doing. She is Malaysian. She always backs my projects and ideas together with her family. And actually, the family introduced me to Coach Hasril. He's an outstanding coach. He has a great network, and we are very happy that we have the opportunity to work with him. What you might have noticed that actually my professional background is actually more into real estate. I'm a developer. And what has been mentioned already, I have a strong focus on commercial and retail properties. I'm running my own company over here in Switzerland since more than 14 years now. And we've realized a couple of beautiful projects over here in some of the major cities in Switzerland. One of the projects you can see right behind me, it's in Lucerne. Maybe some of you guys have visited Switzerland, and maybe some of you will have the opportunity in the future. You are always welcome to drop by at our office and meet us in person. Most of my life, so my core business was actually in stationary retail, meaning we were building shops for international brands, and we established their presence in the offline world. So now, as we all know, the world has changed, and a lot of business has shifted online. So once in a while, it is necessary to update your business plan in order to stay ahead of the competition. And this will be one of our topics today, and it is one of the main reasons why are we having this presentation today. It's not only me who has to change to stay in business. Actually, all of us, we need to re-evaluate our current business model and decide if you're still up to date. This shift from the offline into the online world is something that it's happening. It's happening since a couple of years. Some of us may have delayed the decision to jump on the train, but the train is moving, and the train is actually picking up speed. Before we go into the details, I would like to have a look into Malaysia, because whenever I'm in Malaysia, I'm actually fascinated by all the people who are literally glued to their mobile phones. So what I did a little research, and I would like to share some numbers with you. As of January 2021, 86% of the people in Malaysia use social media. That is a raise from 24% starting from 2016, when social media users accounted for only 62% of Malaysia's entire population. YouTube actually sees the highest number of users with a penetration rate of about 94%, followed by Facebook at 89% and Instagram at 75%. Just to give you a number so you can maybe understand better where I'm coming from. In Europe, the average social media penetration is somewhere around 60 to 65%. So we have a huge gap here, and the gap is somewhere around 30%, and that is a huge difference. And that is also a huge market, which gives all of you a unique opportunity. I mean, literally every Malaysian citizen is using social media, meaning with the right tool, you can reach 90% of the population to sell your product or your services. And I mean, to reach 90%, that is a huge advantage that you guys have. What is underestimated, because this development that happened, it means that actually this 90%, this is really your target group. I mean, if they're using YouTube or if they're using Instagram or TikTok or whatever is on nowadays, nowadays social media is actually directly connected to e-commerce and to sales online. People are selling through YouTube, people are selling through Instagram, people are selling through Facebook. So something has happened. These are the good news, meaning you have a huge market there, and you are hopping on the right train. But now let's look into the challenge of e-commerce and how it affects our life and business. Because when I started looking into e-commerce and DG1 for the first time a few years back, I noticed that most of the players in the market at that time, they were actually struggling to catch up with the extremely quick tech evolution. The big ones like Amazon, you have Lazada and Shopee over there. The big ones who had access to funds, they were very slow, while the small ones who did not have access to the necessary funds, they actually stay behind. Also left behind were all of us, the SMEs and the micro business owners, because we did not even have a chance to adapt to this fast-moving tech market. We were absorbed with daily business, and once the pandemic hit, actually most of us, to be honest, were fighting with sheer survival. I myself consider myself as an SME. All of us, we are busy with our daily operations. Let's say you're a manufacturer, you are producing something, so you are negotiating with your supplier, you are troubleshooting with the delivery company, you try to get more clients, You have to sit down and organize your documents for the accountant. The guy calls you already every second day because you missed another deadline. And once the pandemic hit us, we were actually locked in. We were forced to rethink our strategies. We were forced to adapt to a new situation. Everything shifted online, and suddenly e-commerce was the new normal. I will give you another example. Let's take this video conference. No, I wouldn't say nobody, but most of the people did not use a video conference before the pandemic. I'm a person, I like to meet people in real life. I like to shake hands. I like to read the people. It's this kind of connection that usually happens. And once we were sent into home office, this wasn't possible anymore. So at the beginning, all these tools that were there, like even Zoom and Teams and whatsoever, they were not where they are today. Yeah? When you started Zoom a couple of years back, it was already possible to share a screen, but it was a different setup. It was not the same quality that we have today. So suddenly we were forced into using this kind of technology. And the same is true for e-commerce. I mean, as I mentioned before, 90% of the Malaysian population is using social media, is connected to e-commerce. So of course it makes sense to try and reach out to them, especially for business. But how? I mean, nobody gave us a manual. How does e-commerce really work? Nobody taught us at school, like algebra or English. E-commerce sneaked into our lives, and there is no manual that helps us understand how does it work. What we do right now is actually learning by doing. And what we, DG1, are trying to do is we try to assist. We will explain a little bit later what kind of features we developed in order to make your life easier. But that is actually the background where we're coming from. Let's have another quick look also into the market first. Everyone knows Amazon, Alibaba. In Malaysia, you guys have Shopee or Lazada. So what is actually their business model? What they do, they offer a very easy access to their platform. Yeah, you open an account, you upload a picture, you add your price, and here you go. The first customer shows up and you buy, you sell your product. What happens in the background? Because there's actually something else going on. What they do, they collect all your clients' data, and because it's a marketplace, they attract other clients who are selling the exact same product that you are selling, just to create some competition and to attract more potential buyers. So all of you guys are very nice and polite people. So what you do, you even pay them a fee for every client's address that you give to them. And what is even better, once you decide to move to another platform, all these clients' details, I mean, these are your clients. They remain with Shopee, Lazada, or whatever e-commerce platform you used to work with. So for now, we know that there's a huge market for us. We know that the tech evolution develops faster than we can handle. We know that there are existing solutions with pros and cons, and we know that either we have to become an e-commerce specialist ourselves, or we find someone who does the job for us, which brings us to DG1. DG1 is what we call an all-in-one e-business solution, including a tailor-made website, for example, an online shop, a booking platform, which you can also use for your services, and also including a marketing tool. It is SME friendly. We are coming from that side, so we understand what is the demand. So we try to integrate all that into the platform. So everything, all these features that we bring in is something that serves the subscriber, which is you, and it helps you to digitalize and globalize your business. And above it all, it gives you control of your client's data. So quickly about the company, our headquarters is actually based in Canada. We have installed some first subsidiaries in Europe. Italy is up and running, Switzerland is up and running. In Slovenia, we have part of our technical team. We've started business in Southeast Asia. We've kicked off in Japan already. we already started slowly to penetrate the Malaysian market, and we are happy to have you guys on board to hopefully be one of our new clients. We started this so-called proof of concept, meaning the platform is up and running successfully since 2020, and in Europe we have about 500 subscribers. Corrado will explain later a little bit of some of their success stories, and but the most important message here is that DG1 is already up and running. We have already onboarded a lot of SMEs. We understand where you're coming from. And our target is actually that we help you guys to improve your online business, which is actually one of our core intentions. Our founder, Gregor Sebic, he has developed DG1 over the last 10 years. He was following his dream to make data accessible to everyone who produces it. I cite him here: just as water belongs to everyone, your data should also belong to yourself. You will find many features within DG1 that actually reflect Gregor's approach to provide an affordable growth system for any kind of system. So his and our plan is actually to enable any SME to globalize and to grow in digital. So maybe you should not see us as another e-commerce platform. Maybe you can also see us as your long-term partner who covers, let's call it, the technical part of your business. We will run this e-commerce in the background, so you can focus on your business. Most of you guys are specialized in, I don't know, producing or selling something, or you are running a service. So this is your strength. This is your forte. And this is actually what you need and what you should focus on. Improve your products or services. Bring your know-how into your core business while DG1 runs your e-commerce in the background. That is where we are coming from. Let's make a short trip back to the basics of marketing before we dive into the system itself. Because the question is, I mean, how do we sell any kind of product or services? Or the better question would even be, what are we actually selling? The answer is, each and every one of you guys is selling an emotion at the end of the day. Sometimes such emotion is connected to a product, sometimes not so much. But I mean, let's be honest, I'm sure that all of you have experienced a situation where you bought something just because you were in a good mood, right? So how do we do this? How do we sell an emotion? What do you think? I mean, there's always this kind of people, I call them the people with the Excel mind. These people just buy a product because it's 3 ringgit cheaper in shop A compared to shop B. But let's be honest, most of us follow an emotion when they're buying stuff. Who really needs an iPhone every 2 years for 7,000 Malaysian ringgit? I don't know, who needs a new car every 4 years? Or I don't know, 15 handbags, 50 pair of shoes. And this shoe question also relates to gentlemen in the meantime, since we have sneakers. So what is the trigger? I mean, especially today where everything is shared online, be it Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. We are heavily influenced by these so-called stories. Story writing is such an important thing nowadays. Stories can mean that someone has been to a new restaurant and enjoyed the best fried fish or nasi lemak. You guys post that stuff all the time. On social media, the people create stories all the time. And there's a lot of followers because they like these stories. I don't know, I'm already in my 50s plus. When I grew up, we had this advertising in the cinema with this Marlboro man. I never smoked, but a lot of people that I know smoked because of this guy. The guy was sitting on a horse riding through the desert. He was sitting on an open fireplace and enjoying his cigarette. They were transporting an emotion. They were writing a story. That was a long time ago. You can see that on the movies before the movie started. Then that stuff shifted into television, and now it shifts into e-commerce. So this storytelling is something we grew up with, which is valid for a generation, let's say my generation, but it's also, and it's still valid and especially valid For the current generation, once there is an emotion connected to a product, we are much more motivated in buying it. And sometimes it's even like that the product becomes secondary only because there is a good story. So now as everything is online, we need to tell that story through our website. And we try to connect to our customers through a website. So meaning we need to transport that emotion through our online presence. Can we do that through a marketplace? I would say no, because as I already mentioned before, on a marketplace, you usually sell because you offer a better price than your competitor does. Remember, the owner of the marketplace will actually force you into this. So yes, of course, you can sell through marketplaces and try beating the competition. But in order to be successful in the long run, in order to establish a business, in order to build up a good reputation, in order to connect your customers so he will come back for a next purchase, you need to own your all this data. You need to be the one that creates the story. You need to connect to these people. So one more thing in this context, we're having a new generation that is growing into business. And meaning when they grow into business, they also grow into a purchase power. So this new generation coming up, one day they will make their own money, and then we have to reach out to these guys. We have to connect to them. This new generation is aware of what is happening. They do care about things. They grow up with online business, and they are very sensitive to a good story and a personalized shopping experience. They have a huge advantage. As I mentioned before, when I grew up, there was no such thing as social media. We didn't have that. The new generation, they grow up with a mobile in their hand. There is babies who have a social media account. So they know all this, they grow into this, they have a very different connection to all of this, and we should make use of that. And that is actually where we're gonna assist you. DG1 can and will assist you with this. We have lots of templates that focus exactly on that storytelling experience. And we have a strong team in customer support who will happily assist you with your very own individual story to tell to your clients. What else do we have? We are working with what we call verticals. At the end of the day, it's nothing else than the features that are included in our all-in-one business solution. And before Corrado jumps on the presentation to talk about these single verticals in more detail, let me just quickly highlight the interfaces, which you can see on the right-hand side of the page. We have some very strong international partners integrated already, starting from payment gateways to delivery services, even a cloud-based accounting software. Let me squeeze in here something very quickly. Many people will ask about pricing later. Just to give you a quick overview, we are selling a full package. We only charge a monthly fee. We are not taking any fees on sales that you do. And everything I mentioned so far, be the website, be the campaign management, be this marketing automation and the booking platform, all this is included in our fee. Also, for example, this cloud-based accounting software and also the marketing. I have a friend, he has a restaurant in Malaysia. I had a chat with him in January, and he told me that actually he spends about 5K per month only for marketing. So if you have a marketing tool integrated in your e-commerce, you can already reduce that 5,000K to, I don't know, maybe 10, 20, maybe even 50%. We have to figure that out because each of you is individual. So it might have a different impact on each of you. But definitely you can save on marketing costs, for example, and definitely you can lower your accounting costs because the integration is there. But I just wanted to squeeze that in here so you also understand the package we are talking about. All these interfaces that we have included and that we will still include, they will assist you with a smooth process from A to Z, and it will also improve your client's customer experience. So at this very moment, we are preparing to integrate also some local companies from Malaysia. Just to mention, for example, Bill Please is a payment gateway partner. We already working on the interface, so they might be integrated in the next couple of weeks. Then Ninja Van, for example, for speedy delivery of your products, and there are other partnerships in the pipeline. We will keep you updated whenever a new interface comes up. But what we are trying to do, I mean, we are coming from an international market, so we started with the international big players, but we are customizing DG1 at the very moment to the Malaysian market. Yeah, and as I said, we will keep you posted whenever there is a new partner coming up. So I think this is a good time to hand over to Corrado, who will go into the details of the verticals for you.
Okay, thank you, Andre. But you was already so clever in introducing DG1. If you are so kind to come back to the previous slide, because I would like to add such some details according to why we are doing what we do. Okay, you correctly said before that selling is a matter of sharing a story, and probably everybody, so all of us attending this event, but all the entrepreneurs usually, they know how to tell the story offline because they had their experience about. Okay, probably any entrepreneur starting the business in the very beginning, he had a lot of issues to fix every day. Probably he invested all the money that he had in his pocket to start a business. As we heard from Mr. Dato Rosman before, okay, the life of an entrepreneur is not easy at all. Now, what we try to do with DG1, building this platform, is simply try to be in the shoes of an entrepreneur, okay, to see what he needs eventually to repeat the story or the experience he had offline, to repeat this experience online this time, simply because the market changed, simply because we cannot stop progress. We can only tune our behavior against the progress in order to benefit from this progress. As you correctly said before, probably a few years ago, this kind of event was impossible. Okay, I remember when I bought the first computer, my father told me that I was crazy to spend money for that machine. Today, my father is chatting with me with a mobile phone. So now let's come back to the life of an entrepreneur. We all know that you are maybe the most clever in your business. And most of the entrepreneurs, especially small entrepreneurs, they are not moving online just because they are afraid to walk in a dark room. And even if you tell those people, look, don't worry, because the walls, they are so soft that you will never get injured even if you push on the wall. But still, walking into the dark makes people afraid. So DG1 has the goal to switch on the light on this and let you move online without being afraid. And we used to speak, when we introduced DG1, not only about e-commerce. We use another word, which is e-business. Why this different word to use? Because the business online, it's not only e-commerce. E-commerce is just part of this activity. Because in order to tell the story, as Andre said before, you need many tools. You need to interact with people. You need to let people know what you do. You need to collect information. You need to run eventually promotion. And all together, this activity online, it's called e-business. And this is also the reason why we wanted to put all these functionalities inside one single environment, which is DG1 today. Because inside DG1, you will find all the functionalities that Andre called verticals in order to run your e-business online in an effective way and also in an accessible way. Because of course, the big guys, they have money enough to enter this business. But very often, small entrepreneurs, they don't have this kind of financial availability to jump, you know, in something that they don't know yet. And inside DG1, you will find e-commerce, marketing campaign management, automation of marketing, booking, possibility to build web pages, to have a connection with mobile, all inside one single environment. Okay, then we can move to the next slide, Andre. So the first functionality, or the first vertical, as we want to say, is practically the same, is the possibility to build web pages. So the web page, your website, is like the window of your shop on the street. It is the first thing that people met. This is the first way that people meet your company. So paying attention to the website is extremely important, because the first impression is the one who stays longer in the mind of potential clients. And also having a good look, having a easy readable of the contents of your website is extremely important to catch the attention of people visiting the website. I'm sure that when you are visiting websites or when you are reading your social media, you just spend a few seconds to decide if something for you is interesting or not. So now it's consequently extremely important that when somebody visits the web page or your website, he get interested in it in order to go deeper and eventually enjoy what you are offering to the market. That's why we create a simply to use system to build web pages. I want to tell you something more. Into your DG1 account, you can manage different websites. Suppose that you are an entrepreneur with 3 shops, for example, in 3 different towns or in 3 different markets. Then you can manage all this into your DG1 account. Which is the benefit? The benefit is that you are actually collecting data from different sources, but those data stays into your account, and you can simply use then those data for interacting, for cross-marketing, for doing any other activity to improve your online stream revenue. This functionality is easy to use, is all drag and drop. So you just simply copy and paste the contents. It's of course responsive, It means that it's easy and well readable in any device you are going to use, from mobile to laptop to the PC at home, which is not, which is something quite interesting, because, you know, sometimes you have this website when you're just visiting through the mobile, so the pictures looks ugly and it's not really readable, all the contents inside. So being responsive is something important. Also, the website are self-friendly. Now, SEO is a word that is in the mouth of everybody, okay, nowadays. Everybody became an expert of SEO. Well, let's say that, okay, let's accept this concept, but in the reality, it's not so easy to manage the SEO of your website. That is why inside DG1, we implemented a kind of solution to make automatically the website SEO friendly. Additionally, especially for those companies who wants to run a kind of cross-border selling, that I can imagine it's something interesting for a Malaysian company, for example, having the website in a different languages, it's also something very interesting and important. This is the reason why we implemented into DG1 an artificial intelligence solution in order to translate automatically the contents of your website in many different languages. And look, you probably had this need to have the website in 2 different languages, in 3 different languages, maybe also in 2 or 3 different currencies, because you are selling your product in different markets. Many of the available solutions in the market, many of our competitors, force you to open a second, a third or fourth account, or simply move for an enterprise solution in order to have this kind of possibilities. Instead, DG1 includes, with no additional cost, this kind of opportunities, which is quite important for an entrepreneur who wants to, you know, expand the business to the world. Let me tell also about the contents. One of the issues of the entrepreneurs is that they are missing contents to use in their website. And one of the contents is, for example, about images. Okay, which picture shall I use to better represent my company? This is the reason why we decided to implement the direct link to Unsplash, which is an international database of pictures, and you can simply pick up the picture that you need from Unsplash directly from DG1, so you don't even have this issue to look for the images that you need for your business, to pay attention if those images are you know, have the rights to be used or not, because many people just copy and paste images, taking those pictures from the internet, and they don't know that they might probably facing an issue because they have not the right to use that images. And many other features you will see eventually. I hope that you will at least try the trial period, so we will help you to go deeper in the functionalities of DG1 connected with the building of web pages. Andre, maybe we can go to the next slide. The next slide is about e-commerce. That, as we said, is a part of the e-business. It's probably the functionalities that you know the most, because everybody is talking nowadays about e-commerce. Well, let me tell you that there are a few functionalities inside DG1 which are patent pending, because we actually patent this kind of solutions, which are about making the purchasing experience of your clients as enjoyable as possible. Because when the people easily buy the product, they feel to be clever, and this kind of feeling push them to come back on the same shop where they found exactly where they were looking for. This is the reason why we have in our e-commerce an intelligent grid where you can put all the items you are selling. Let me explain this way. The experience is the same you enjoy when you are into an offline shop, where you find all the items on the shelves of the shop. Here in our e-commerce, all the products are on this intelligent grid. But now imagine that you enter into a shop where all the shelves are empty, but as you walk into the shop, you will find on the shelf exactly what you were looking for. This is because this grid is an intelligent grid who learn from the purchasing experience of your client and offer your client immediately what the grid knows they like the most. And this is, of course, improve how do they enjoy the purchasing experience, and of course push them to buy more product. Also, in this intelligent grid, you can simply click on each item and there is a flip who turn the picture, giving you more information about the item you are selling. And what is important is that in this way, the client or the potential one do not leave the page of the product to get more information and come back. You can give information into the same page, and this is more engaging against the potential client. Those are details, but important details who actually improve the purchasing from your clients. Also, there is the possibility of multi-choicing of products. You can flip many items and they go already in a kind of pre-basket. So with one click, you go directly to the cash desk with everything you put in your basket. Another interesting detail, usually in the standard e-commerce, you have to select the details of the item you want to buy before you go to the desk for paying, before you check out. In DG1, you can fill in your basket and then select the details when you are already on the checkout. And maybe, I mean, in my experience, I'm practically the same age of Andre. I'm a little bit older, Andre. I'm sorry for that, but I'm a little bit older than you. But I remember that in the very beginning, the supermarket, we used to have the small basket and the big basket. Okay, so because if I was going to the shop just to buy a few things, I could use the small one and then the big one. Nowadays, any supermarket in the world has only the big basket. And the reason is only one. You see this basket empty all the time, and you are pushed to buy a little bit more. So what we try to do in our e-commerce solution is something quite similar, where we are pushing people to actually enjoy more and consequently buy more. And of course, I'm not probably wrong telling that this is the hope of any entrepreneur, that the clients buy a little bit more and also become loyal to the shop, coming back thanks to the good experience they had in purchasing through your shop. Also, we have a multi-search functionalities where you can simply put, I don't know, if your wife gives you the list of the items to buy, you can simply type all these items and click, and automatically the grid will show you all the products you are looking for. And let me just spend a few words about the payment. As Andre said before, we implemented already the main gateway of payments, which include also the possibility to get paid in cryptocurrency, which is quite actual nowadays and probably become more and more actual in the coming future. Andre, can we go to the next one? Marketing. Well, so this is the way you interact with your potential client, with the leads before they become clients, and with the clients to make them loyal to your activity. So it is extremely important to have a strong marketing tool. In DG1, you will have a multi-channel communication with your client. So you can communicate with your client through mailing, through push notification, through mobile push, to newsletters. So, but what makes extremely interesting the marketing tool of DG1, let me just spend a few minutes on this topic, is the possibility to segment your database. What does it mean? It means that inside DG1, you can using practically unlimited number of how to say, of characteristic of your client, you can define very precisely the target. So I can, for example, say that I want to run a certain campaign against only men 50 years old, 1 meter 80 centimeters tall, with feet which is 45. So you can really very precisely identify the target. This allows you to make your campaign personalized. And when you run campaign with personalization of this level, the outcome of the campaign is much more effective, because you are sending the right message to the right person and also in the right moment. This is exactly how the social media also works. Okay, the activity they're trying to do is to collect as much data as possible in order to personalize this experience as much as possible. Well, into DG1, you can do exactly this. The difference between the social media and having your own database is is that actually, I mean, the data that you collect through your social media somehow belong to the social media, because you are running your account into their platform. So if tomorrow, for some reason, you get your account canceled or closed, you lose all the data. Having instead those information into your own platform, okay, into your own account in DG1, you never face this kind of problem, which is quite significant. If you just pay attention to this point, it is quite important, okay? And of course, all those campaigns can be automated, so you can simply, I will give you a little bit later a very interesting news about how you can even more improve the automation of your campaign. Let's move to the next. Okay, scheduling. DG1 is probably one of the few solutions in the market which give you the opportunity to sell either items, goods, or services. Why? Because we implemented also a scheduling functionality which will allow you to sell also service, for example. Now let's think about a beauty salon where the owner of the beauty salon can in the same time sell the oil for massage, for example, but also book the massager for massage in the salon. So they can schedule the booking of the service, but also having a window in e-commerce to sell product that they use for their activity. This is also interesting for the restaurant who have to book the table. This is also useful for hotel who wants to actually run a booking, keeping the information and the data of the clients. Let me open very quickly a bracket about bookings. Everybody knows today about Booking.com or some other functionalities for booking hotel service. Well, the hotel manager, when he receives a booking from Booking.com, he knows that this client belongs to Booking.com, not to them. And Booking.com forbids the hotel owner to sell additional services to the client. And you know, nowadays the hotel owners, they are trying any possible way to escape this kind of restriction that Booking.com is giving them. Well, now I don't want to go to have a talk ethically about the Booking.com activity, but let me just tell that it's probably important for an hotel owner or for a restaurant owner to have his own booking system in order just to prepare, okay, to balance. I'm not telling to stop the Booking.com, but let's start to have another opportunity for booking, keeping the data of the clients, and you will see that using this in the right way, we will decrease the needs of Booking.com against the growing of our own booking. And we also save a lot of money because commission paid by hotels and by restaurants to all this booking system are quite high. So why not to save as much as possible? Next one. Big data. You will see entering into the G1 that in the back end, you will have a kind of dashboard with a lot of data regarding your activity. You will be able to see immediately which product you sold, which are the product getting the best result. You can segment the data to see, for example, how many people open the email that you send out for the marketing. You can see which kind of reaction. You can see which are the leads of clients who actually are not profitable at all for you, which are instead the clients that you need to nurturing because they are buying your services. You can see how many items are, for example, in the basket because people did not finish the purchasing process. So you practically have a picture about your activity, what is going on. And in this way, you can fly like an eagle and looking from the top, the whole landscape of your business and take the best decision in order to move forward. You know exactly which direction is better to go, which kind of promotion is better to run, where the clients are coming from, which is the market which is more profitable for you. And of course, all this is ruled with the GDPR rules, which is, for example, in Europe today mandatory, but it will become in the next future mandatory wherever because of the respecting the data privacy is a priority in the next future. You probably already heard about the third generation of internet which is coming. And well, so we will play probably what will play a major role in this, it will be exactly how to manage the data of people, okay? Next one. Mobile app. Andre said in the beginning that especially Malaysia, everybody is using the phone. So good news for you, because included with no additional cost, any subscriber of an account of DG1 receive also the possibility of the mobile app. So we have the mobile app for the business owner, which he can use in order to manage his online shop directly from the mobile phone. And also the business owner has the possibility to publish on the shop his mobile app, so that any client can download the mobile app, and you can easily stay in the pocket of any of your clients all over the day, because you can reach the clients directly with the push notification, for example, on their mobile. And also, this is also a way to collect the data from the client, even if they are coming from another source. Let me give you an example. Suppose that I'm a hotel owner, and Andre make a booking through Booking.com, okay, and he is a client from Booking.com. Eventually, I cannot make upselling on Andre because he belongs to Booking.com. But when he comes in my hotel, I can simply say, Andre, you know, if you download the application of our hotel, you will have a free cocktail at the swimming pool today evening. Well, Andre, just to get probably the wonderful cocktail, will download the application. But downloading the app, he will actually become also my client, not only because belonging to Booking.com. And in this way, I can, for example, be allowed to make upselling on Andre. So having this kind of features is quite interesting. Okay, is the way to be in contact with your clients in any single moment. And if we go to the next one, talking about mobile app, well, this is something which really make a big difference between DG1 and what is happening in the market. And all starts from the very beginning when Andre showed you the picture with data with DG1 and all the verticals. So in the very beginning, we thought about DG1 as an all-in-one solution where everything is working into one database, okay? Nowadays, if you use, for example, Shopify, if you use WordPress or another solution, okay, they started with one vertical, and then you can add functionalities from other softwares. We instead build everything, the 5, 6 vertical into one database. This gives us the possibility today to show you something like our virtual assistant, which is not simply working like Alexa, where I say, hey, Alexa, please play this song, and Alexa play this song. No, this is really an assistant of the business owner. So the business owner will be capable to say, hey, DG1, please run a campaign for me. And DG1 assistant will go into the database, we collect the data, we'll write the text, we'll select the channel, and we'll start the campaign and give you feedback out of the campaign. It's doing the work instead of you. Our idea is to simply reduce the distance between the technology and the business owner. Because our idea is that you are clever in your job, as Andre said in the very beginning, and you have to move forward in your job. DG1 will take care of the technology you need. The virtual assistant is now starting. The first steps will be available to everybody very, very, very soon. And of course, will be free of charge for any DG1 users. Because this is another big difference today. Any solution from WordPress, Shopify, WooCommerce, doesn't matter, okay? You are not receiving assistance to use this kind of solution. We instead are together with our clients, because for us it's important that they learn easily how to use our platform, because we care of their freedom. We care that they will be able to run this business as they want, not as somebody else wants. Well, so now, Andre, if you want to just explain what we are trying to do, especially for Malaysians, and also I will be available for a question in case somebody want to know a little bit more.
Let me just maybe add a few words to this assistant, because I think this is a very, very clever thing that actually, I guess it was Gregor's idea. Because
all DG1 is Gregor's idea.
Because what I like about this virtual assistant, we have the pleasure, we already have a beta version on our phones. We can actually already try it. And I was pretty fascinated because what Corrado just mentioned, if you compare it to Alexa and then all this other Google Assistant or whatever we already know, the issues that all the other assistants are facing, that our language is very complex. So you want to ask, what is the weather? That is a simple question that is usually understood. And the assistant goes online and then fetches the information for you and says the weather in Malaysia is good. When you ask a very complex question, like what is the demographics in country A compared to country B when it comes to a certain age area, then the system will not understand your question and you will never get an answer. DG1, as Corrado explained just now, we collect all this information, your information for you. We have this database in the background. We have this segmentation that we just talked about. And maybe I can flip to this next page where everything is put together a little bit in an overview. But let me stick to this app, because what is happening in the background, that actually this artificial intelligence, it looks into your data, it analyzes in the background, and actually it will come already up with a proposal. Let's say you are selling, I don't know, t-shirts with a special motif on it. And these t-shirts are very famous in Penang, but not so much in Johor. So the database actually collects this information, and this virtual assistant knows about this information, and it will translate this information to you. So meaning you open the app, and then you want to know how were the sales in certain region. It's actually this assistant who will come up and say, listen, I've analyzed your data. I've noticed that the sales for these t-shirts with this special motif on it are very famous in Penang. So why don't we push the market over there? And it will also suggest how to approach this market, be it with an SMS, be it with an email, be it with a pop-up window on the homepage or whatsoever. So the advantage is you don't have, of course, you still have to ask certain questions, but these are very simple questions because everything is already analyzed in the background. So I think that is a very, very smart move, and that makes this application very different from all the other assistants that we know from online so far. What you see on the screen right now is what we call a canvas. Actually, it's nothing else than a summary where you can see how this e-commerce platform can actually assist you as an SME, how to position yourself in the market, how we can help you with customer relation. We mentioned customer segmentation, I think a very, very important thing, because you can really target a certain group. And then usually the outcome is much higher than if you just go into the mass market. We've talked about revenue stream, we've talked about cost structure. But still, I mean, maybe some of you, or for some of you, the question still remains, why would you sign up with DG1? Frankly speaking, there is no general answer to the question, because each of you has a very individual profile. Each of you has his own business. We think that our platform is very professional. There's a lot of things inside this platform that you usually cannot find in another platform. And we are strong enough to assist all of you with your online business. We can help you establish your brand, and we can help you grow your business, not only national, but also cross-border. I can only give you my personal answer. I recently decided to bring my real estate company online. That is not a typical business for an e-commerce platform, especially when it comes to project development. What is my core business? But I've changed the perspective. We have a huge database with more than 4,500 clients and business partners. We never made use of this 4,500 people in the past. So what we do right now is we put it into the DG1 e-commerce platform, and using all these features that we just introduced to you, now we are able, for example, to reach out to family offices who sometimes join our projects as a joint venture partner. So now we can update these fellows once per month on upcoming new investment opportunities. They will know about it, so meaning they can come back to us. We don't have to call them up anymore. We will still do, because it's a very personal business at the end of the day. But DG1 will help us to keep in touch with these people. As we mentioned before, you need to connect to your people. You need to build these emotional strings to them. And we are trying to make use with the e-commerce platform. Before we had to go there, we had to drive there. Now part of the job is done by the e-commerce platform. We have a second database where we have all the details of all the pension funds here in Switzerland. So that is another 3,000 contact details where we can reach out whenever one of our real estate projects is close to be finished. So we don't need to go through brokers anymore. We can sell directly because we send them an email with a short information on the project. If they're interested, they will just call us and we can save thousands of Swiss francs on broker commission. So what I'm trying to say is that if you look into your own business, maybe also from a different angle, so knowing what this platform can actually deliver, there might be various opportunities where an automated database can create value add also for you and your company. We have some of the success stories. I don't know, Corrado, you know them better than I do. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about each of those guys. These are already clients of DG1, and maybe you can tell a few words about each of them and what's their success story.
Yeah, of course. So they are our clients, but let's say they are companies who are already enjoying from using this DG1 as their solution. And you will see that we are talking about, we selected just a few, but from different kind of business, just to show you that there is no restriction about the size of the business typology you are running. This is, for example, Tony Arbolino. He is just a motorbike champion. He is running in Moto2. And you might think, why a motorbike needs internet? It's very simple. He is improving his merchandising using DG1. So he is increasing the number of people following him as a motorbike runner. You know that one of the richest football club in the world is Barcelona. And of course, they are very famous and rich because of the performance. But nobody knows that Barcelona team was one of the first to run this kind of activity about merchandising, collecting leads and working on the loyalty of those leads. And so they earn a lot of money just selling merchandising about the team. And this is what Tony Arbolino is doing using DG1. So, of course, all is connected with his social media, but he collects from social media leads. The leads goes on his web page, so the data stays on his database. Then he attack those leads and push those leads to go on the shop in his DG1 website and sell goods, I mean shirts and some other stuff to the people. The next one instead, really another world. This guy, he's we are talking about the Luxair. Is a Swiss company. The owner of this business is selling, you know, this parfum stuff for the cars, and he personalized this for any kind of country or football team or stuff like that. Okay, this is a very successful business. Before, he was getting crazy using 5 different platforms to run this business. Today he has everything inside DG1 and it's easily to manage, and he is selling all around the world this kind of stuff. We are talking about goods whose cost is, I mean, maybe $1 or $2 for a package of 5. So you see, we move it from something which is the champion in sport, a sports champion, to something which is really something common that usually people buy in the oil station when you go for refilling your car. Okay, the next one instead is a different kind of market. So we move it from Europe, Switzerland to Japan. As Andre said in the very beginning, we have one of our unit in Japan, which is one of the most difficult market in the world, by the way, for many specific reasons. This guy is selling Japanese food online, is also selling Japanese food out of Japan. In Japan, it's quite difficult to find website in different languages. He find quite interesting our functionalities for the translation. And again, now we are talking about food. Before we were talking about something different, just to let you see how actually there is no restriction about the business activities. The next one, for example, you will see is again a Japanese company who is completely in another kind of business. We are talking about jewelry. So it's not expensive jewelry, but it's a different kind of business completely. And what with the example we selected today, we just wanted to let you understand that there is really no restriction about the size of the business and the typology of the business we are going to run. And we made this even more accessible for Malaysia because, as Andre will tell you very soon, we have a special offer for Malaysia.
Yeah, I've just been informed we should skip to this offer right away because we are slowly running out of time. So
okay, let's go.
So let's go to our offer. For the launch of DG1 in Malaysia, because we want to make your decision easy, we want to give you time to try and experience, we came up with a special offer. So you have time to really look into the platform without any strings attached. So what we're going to do is we will give you an extended free trial access for 3 months, completely free, plus another 3 months with a 75% discount on the monthly fees. I mentioned that before. We don't take any fees on your sales or whatsoever. We are usually working with a flat fee. The standard fee that we are charging when there's no discount is $290 per month, which sounds a lot at the beginning, but to be honest, what we plan to do is that after the 6 months, we want to sit together with the first people from Malaysia, with the first SMEs that signed up, and see what is the value add that the platform really brought to you guys. And then we might even discuss what is the future fee for the Malaysian market, but that's something we really need to figure out in the next 6 months. I've discussed about this with Gregor, but for now, you will have 3 months of 100% free, then the discounted period. We want to give you really time to check the system. Throughout the 6 months, we will be there assisting you whenever you might need assistance. Use this time to test our customer success team, to work with our support team. Enjoy the ready-to-go themes. Take advantage of our onboarding support. As Corrado said, enjoy free future upgrades, video tutorials, and let's make your company fly online together. This is the theme of the event today, and we hope that what we introduced to you makes sense to you. We hope that we could reach some of you. And having said this, we thank you very much for being interested in us, giving us the opportunity to introduce DG1. I'm giving back to Coach Hazril. Thank you so much. And if there is any questions, please feel free to shoot them now.
Okay, thank you very much, Andre and Cardo. Okay, closing remark by one of you. What you like to share? How you want to move forward? You see, we need to get these people ready to DG1 themselves, and please, any one of you want to share your closing remark?
Yeah, thank you for everyone. I mean, it was really a pleasure. Especially thank you, Coach Hazril, for organizing this one. I can see that actually there was quite some feedback. We had more than 60 participants, and I've mentioned that before. We are coming from the SME side. We are actually here to help you. That is our background. That's where we're coming from. Give us a chance, try us. I think we made a good offer. You have 3 months for free. You have a huge discount after that. You've got the grants coming in. So I think you are backed from all sides. And then we work together and try to get your company online as good as possible. If you have any questions, just reach out directly to us. Corrado just shared all our email contacts. We will be available in the next couple of days. Feel free to reach out. Thank you very much to everyone. And we are looking forward to working together with you on a mutual success.
Thank you so much.
Coach,
Thank you.
Coach,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Today, I learned something more, and thank you for this.
Yeah, we learn Malaysia, we learn together. That means kita belajar sama-sama. Okay, I like to thank my production team and the promotion team for making this a success. And thank you to you, gentlemen. Okay, we will have our follow-up meeting later. Thank you,
Okay.
guys. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.